This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to find out more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a major shout out goes out to our boss level patrons, Christopher, Patrick, and Skylar.
Hey, I have an idea. Let's just not do an intro this week.
Okay.
Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And you're welcome.
Hey, I've got an idea. Let's just not do an episode this week.
Oh,
Peterson Productions. Oh, yeah. Just end it there.
live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week, as with all weeks, is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this awesome cookie and soda shop, dirty soda shop, whatever you call them here in Utah. And also somewhere else maybe soon, but at least here in Utah. You can go check out all their awesome cookies at cravecookies.com. But if you're driving, I'll just spoil it for you. Guys, they have this one called the strawberry shortcake. Oh my God, he's got them labeled on his website now. Cold
cookie,
or warm cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Cold cookie, warm cookie. Trent, buddy, good idea. I like to know how many cold versus warm cookies you're busting out each week. So
Most of them are warm this week, and then he's got that strawberry shortcake, which is a coldie.
Yeah, that's a cold one, which is white sugar dough with strawberry cream spread, shortbread cookies, and fresh whipped cream, finished with a strawberry shortbread crumble. Holy God!
Can I ask you? I don't know what he's doing with the intro, with the description of the shortcake cookie.
Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
Is it from a song or something?
She's so bubba berry extraordinary. She's straw bubba berry shortcake. Is strawberry shortcake is a show?
Is this?
Isn't it?
Yes. Is it based off of that? It's gotta be.
Well, if you can find the strawberry shortcake theme that Trent was drawing off here, you can just cut that in. Otherwise, you guys are gonna have to fill in what you think that tune is. He's also got the fluffer nutter butter, which I really appreciate.
You like that one?
I really do like anything with marshmallow in it. That's my favorite food is marshmallow. Some people it's pizza. Me, it's marshmallow.
What's your favorite food? I like marshmallows, fluff, plain, roasted. I don't care. I'm just into those marshmallows.
Put them in ice cream. Put them in a milkshake.
JD, that's barely a food. Barely. It's almost not food.
The USDA says it's a vegetable if you put it on pizza. Saudi Arabia just spent another $1 billion for a 5% stake of Embracer Group.
I don't like where this is at. This is a trend I feel like that I'm not into.
Weren't we just saying a couple weeks ago on this podcast how cool Embracer Group is? How we're like, they seem like chill. Embracer Group seems
buying
cool.
Stuff and like letting it go.
They're just kind of doing stuff, buying cool things. Well, they're also getting bought. This is they have invested $1 billion in this is from a quote from Embracer Group. Savvy Gaming Group's investment of $1 billion enables us to continue executing our strategy proactively from a position of strength across the global gaming industry. So what we're learning here is that it's very, very hard for anyone to say no to $1 billion.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely it.
Peterson, if the Saudis came to you and they're like, "Can we have 5% of your house for $1 billion?" You'd be like, "You can have 10%."
Yeah, you can buy the whole house. I don't care.
Do you want it?
I'll move.
I'll fucking move. You can just have it. So yeah, I think that's what we're here. And they're like, "No, we don't want the whole house. We just want 5%." And you're like, "Oh, so just like a couch?" And they're like, "Yeah."
It's like if I sell it, you just want 5% of the profits from that, and they're like, "Sure."
Yeah. They're like, it's just like one thing. We may ask you for like a favor later in your life. You can't say no or refuse it. Just don't worry about it. Like in like 10 to 15 years, having like
no, I don't feel good about that.
Owing a regime a favor like this.
For $1 billion, I could probably disappear. Right? Change my name, change my identity, get a new social security number. I don't know. They can't find me.
Could you disappear from the people that just gave you $1 billion?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've seen too many movies.
I just need to find Liam Neeson. That's our starting off point. The Grammys have added a category for Best Video Game Score. This is coming alongside 5 other newly announced categories, including Best Spoken Word Poetry Album and Best Alternative Music Performance. So, yeah, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. But, hey, we got it, you guys. We got a Grammy.
Here's what I want to see from this, and here's what I won't see. I want to see, like, cool indie artists, you know, for these cool indie games getting nominated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what we're going to see. We're going to see, like, The Last of Us types of games, you know, the big ones, the big dramatic ones getting nominated. And you're like, well, this score is not as interesting as, like, this indie game that has just this dope music that I would listen to outside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's not what we're going to get. It'll just be...
It won't be FTL. You're right. It'll be like Last of Us. But this is kind of cool because this means a video game composer could technically EGOT, which is an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. I think this was theorized in 30 Rock. The easiest way to EGOT is to start with a song that gets used in a movie, and that has a play based on that movie. Then you put that's perform that song. So that's how Whoopi Goldberg did it.
That's how we get there.
That's how you get there. So anyway, the best score soundtrack for video games and other interactive media. So could be, I don't know, an edutainment game that has just a great score. This recognizes excellence in score soundtrack albums comprised predominantly of original scores and created specifically for or as a companion to a current video game or interactive media released within the qualification period. Well, I don't know. I do know this. We will be covering who wins this Grammy every year because that is awesome.
Yeah. The only thing is I need to know that the Grammys are happening.
That's the only way you guys will know the Grammys are happening because no one gives a shit.
Nobody cares.
I mean, honestly, any awards show, but the Grammys are like wait. The Golden Globes are the joke one, right?
That's the one. Yeah, it's unwatchable.
What's the daytime? Oh, it's the Emmys. So you go Oscar, Emmy, and then Golden Globes. See, that's
honestly,
not even
they're all pretty snoozy, but yeah. So you'll find out, guys. Good news: 3-Bit Gamer Show is going to be covering the Grammys.
Good news: you guys still don't need to watch the Grammys.
You're gonna hate it.
It turns out Fallout 76 was just as messy on the inside as it was on the outside.
This is a great story, but
funny how that works.
There's a lot of info here.
Yeah, this is a really thick report coming out of Kotaku. Just the classic thing you guys are all used to. This one comes from I think the author's name is Sissy Yang. And this is in depth, as Peterson said. Fallout 76, if you guys remember, was that live service game that came really closely on the heels of Fallout 4, if I remember correctly.
Like a year later, it felt like.
Yeah, and we were like, wow, hot diggity damn. And they're like, yeah, it's multiplayer, and it's going to be like all this fun shit, and you're going to play with other people in the map, and it's going to be really interactive, and you're going to write your own stories with everyone. And Todd Howard was just hyping this thing to the moon. And everyone was like, how is that going to fucking work? Like, everyone that had played Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Skyrim, Oblivion, any Bethesda game was very familiar with how they make their single player games and was like, how are you going to build a multiplayer game on this platform? Like, hey, don't worry about it.
It almost was something that I don't even think we were that interested in.
And no one asked for this. Literally nobody wanted this game.
We were like, or just make my regular Fallout game
faster.
Have like a multiplayer mod where I can, or multiplayer where I can just play with my buddy. We can jump in the same world and kind of do it together. But I don't want a Fallout MMO.
Or, crazy as this sounds, forget it entirely, because it's cash grab, and we know it's cash grab.
Everyone knows it's a cash grab.
It's extraordinarily cynical of you to do this. Why don't you just take all those resources and get us Starfield faster so we can get the next Elder Scrolls game, because that's the only thing we actually fucking want out of you.
You don't know what you're talking about. You want Fallout 76. I'm going to shove it down your throats. Shut up about Starfield.
I am so sorry, Todd Howard. I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted.
That's because you're an idiot. That's why you don't
give me your wallet.
Now pay for this game.
$9.99 a month. That's all I want. I'm not greedy. So this is obviously touches on a lot of different things. I say obviously because obviously it's QA. That's a huge part of this. Yep. One of these big things about this, everyone that's ever played a Bethesda title knows that they're very buggy. These games, sometimes they're kind of cute. Sometimes they're bugs that people are like bugs in Skyrim that happen. People like post memes about, and they're not like reporting or getting mad about. They're like, look at this crazy bug I saw. And because it's part of what people love about these games. People don't love that in a multiplayer game. People don't like bugs in a live service game that you're expected to pay a bunch of money for all the time. That's not fun. And one of the problems in this game was that the QA, like any other QA, was mistreated. They couldn't directly talk to the designers when they found their bugs. They had to like escalate it through their lead. Even in this one, though, they were in the same building. I like that was pointed out in the article. Sometimes they are cordoned off into a separate building where they have to like walk across a parking lot to use the bathroom or something. In this one, they're in the same building. They're just mistreated. Just for what their job title is. There were also some like nightmare stories told about the crunch that the QA and everyone else, but like in particular, one thing that jumped out to me is that there were QAs that were crunching to fix bugs that the fixes weren't implemented. So and if you could imagine the frustration of working not just overtime, this is like video game overtime. So like 6 hours a week, probably 10 to 12 hour days. And it's like grindy work the whole time. And then they're like, oh yeah, none of that just got thrown in the garbage because we didn't feel. And if you guys are thinking, which I think sometimes it's easy to think, well, why don't you just go get another job? You can work in software, you can do anything else. This article addresses that specifically because ZeniMax is the largest game employer in like the whole area. And so like there's not really anywhere else you can go, and so people feel like they're stuck in these things, and that if they can just get like the leap into full time, or they can get into a lead role or something, that they'll be safer. But of course that was a nightmare as well. These QA workers would have timed breaks and were followed into the restrooms by non-management employees.
Yep.
So these employees were also testers that were just designated, quote, coordinators. No title, no pay bump, same thing, same title in the system, in their HR system. But if they micromanaged their peers, they felt they could boost their career. Guys, that type of behavior isn't born naturally. That is trained. That is ingrained because that is a cultural thing, that these people are rewarded for this. So imagine you have what is equated to, I don't know, like a prison snitch system at your workplace. Do you think that's a place you would enjoy working? Where people follow you into the bathroom and then snitch to the guards?
Look, I know Dwight Schrute is a fun character in The Office, but if you actually worked with Dwight Schrute, you wouldn't enjoy that.
No, it wouldn't
be
as
cute. This is a bunch of Dwights who are like, they will gladly time your bowel movements and report them to the man.
And dude, imagine getting fired for a long bathroom break. That's it. I feel like that's humiliating for both of you. Like the manager that's having that discussion, the HR person that's involved in that discussion.
They're like, okay, tell me about this poop again. What?
Like, why am I? This is
through it. Why were you in there for?
I got into this job to test video games, but here we are. I am asking you to justify how long it takes you to make a bowel movement. Which, by the way, folks, it's not the same for everyone. Your timer between me and Peterson is gonna be like a 45-minute delta.
Like, okay, we see here from the data that the average BM is about 7 to 8 minutes. You were in there for 15 twice that day, within an hour of each other. What's going on? And they're like, I don't know. We had chili at the cafeteria. And they're like,
what's going on?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull out my shit diary for my boss at Bethesda where I work, because that's something I have to do.
I wish
I didn't, but I do.
A dump diary, dude.
And for Peterson, they're like, dude, hey, we noticed that a normal person poops in about 8 minutes, and you were in there for about 15 seconds, so we just went ahead and called the doctor just for a checkup.
You okay? Did you wash your hands? Like, what happened?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to go back to work, boss. Dude, somebody said they wish they almost broke a bone falling down the stairs, and then they fantasized about they're like, God, what if I'd actually broken it? I would have had time off of work. Imagine being in that type of workplace. This is a quote from the article. A couple of former ZeniMax employees tell Kotaku that no amount of financial incentive could erase the physical and mental exhaustion they experienced from the continual onslaught of nonstop obligatory overtime. I guess I'm blessed that I have no frame of reference. I have no context.
I can't
that I could even think of a job that made me. And I have had some shit jobs, like a lot of shit jobs. That if you had told me, going back in time, and you're like, JD, you have to still work this shit job, but here's a big sack of cash. Every last one of those, I would have been like, oh, okay, cool, thanks.
I could do that.
Imagine having a job so shitty, that like a huge incentive financially was like, that does nothing for me.
No, I
$500,000 in stock options. Don't give a fuck.
Doesn't matter. You broke my brain.
Yes.
I want to fall down the stairs and break my arm so I can get a couple days off.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And on top of this is what I loved. So the game comes out. So I got to go rewind a little bit back into the production of this game, because what happened is Todd Howard, this is the head of Bethesda, whatever. He's got a bug up his ass, and he thinks that we need this live action game. He's watched Destiny make some money, and he wants Destiny for Bethesda.
He wants in.
He's got it, and he wants people to make this game, and he wants the players to be the ones that are creating the story in this, because I don't know, maybe that's cheaper. And he just insists on there's not NPCs. There's no non-player characters in this game. It's all players. Every single designer comes back to him, it's a bad idea. All the testers come back.
Doesn't feel like Fallout.
And they're like, guess what, Todd Howard? Putting all this shit on our like single player game engine doesn't fucking work. And he's like, I don't want to hear about it. Every single person, it seems like, from the bottom up, went to Todd Howard and was like, every part of this idea is bad. You have a bad idea here, Todd. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Make it happen. And
you don't see the vision.
Dude, and the best part is that this fucking destroyed parts of the studio, because they were moving senior designers, very talented people from like games like Fallout 3 and Skyrim, the guys that built these games, which, by the way, those games were made by a team of like fewer than 100 people each, which means if you lose one of the people that worked on Skyrim, that is 1% of who made Skyrim. And that is a fucking huge loss.
You're losing like a noticeable percent.
And Skyrim came out in 2012. 10 years later, that person is still there. They have 10 years of experience after making Skyrim, and you lost them over Fallout 76? You fucking idiot, Todd Howard! You fucking moron! You are so fucking stupid! I hope you like struggle to sleep at night because you roll over in bed and you're like, God, I'm a fucking wicked moron. What is wrong with my brain? Why is it so stupid?
I just really thought that'd be a great idea.
I just thought it'd be great. And the best part is Todd Howard checks out. After he dictates and mandates this game get made, after he watches it like drain his fucking studio like a vampire bat, he just fucks off to Starfield. Todd Howard's like, this is the next best thing. This is dope. You guys got Fallout 76. I told you how to do it, right? You heard what I said? You heard how to make it?
This?
You go make that.
Do
that
exactly.
That game, I said. No NPCs. You make it a multiplayer game.
I
can't bunch of money.
stress enough that there will not be an NPC out there, though. If I log into that game and I see one wandering NPC, you're all fired.
You're all fired. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going over to Starfield. Tons of NPCs on that. It's sick. Peace.
Dude, I love NPCs. Don't put them in 76, though.
So, my whole takeaway from this is they've been working on Starfield since 2015. That's kind of cool. So that game might actually be pretty polished.
Oh, don't look. Don't.
Don't buy that game on release. Don't reward Todd Howard's stupidity.
This is a wait. Look, I want Starfield to be as good as anybody else, but it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see. I don't know.
This comes back to my whole refrain about large organizations and how it is an absolute insanity to think that one singular human being could run them. Look, guys, we all saw in Pacific Rim, you needed 2 people to run those Jaegers. It's too much mental stimulation. That's what I'm saying. You're saying that Todd Howard can run Bethesda on his own? Clearly he can't. He's a fucking idiot. Did you hear earlier what I said? I just think that this is what keeps happening at AAA studios is you have like so much power concentrated at the top, and the power needs to be down where the testers are the people that are like in the weeds with everything that goes wrong with your game. And guess what? When you release the game day one, what is everybody talking about? Everything that went wrong with the game.
Yep.
So why are the testers being treated so poorly? Why are their voices so hard to be heard? And it's not just the testers on this one. The designers themselves, I mean, these are the people you definitely, even by your own standards, should be listening to, and were ignored. I just feel like these AAA studios that are going to remain committed to just like leaving singular people at the top making these massive decisions for studio direction, they're going to keep running into this shit. They're going to run into Anthems. They're going to have more of these Fallout 76s that just end up going belly up, and ugh. Good luck, Starfield. Activision is taking the plunge and raising the cost of next year's Call of Duty to $70.
Oof. Okay, well, here's the thing. Here's how I feel about Call of Duty. Call of Duty, off most of the time, they don't feel like games that should be full priced anyway. Because we've seen now that there's much more success with shooters, like when you're playing multiplayer shooters, if they are cheap and so easy to get into. So they have hinted at, or not hinted at, they have shown that there's going to be a single player mode. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it better be good, right? If you're going to pay $70, the single player better be exceptional. Because a $70 for a multiplayer game, that's kind of not where we're at anymore. You know what I mean? All the biggest multiplayer games out there are free to play or cheap to play.
Yeah.
Right? $25, $30. That's what you're kind of seeing. Like when Overwatch came out, for example, it was huge, right? It was $25. So I'm again, we've talked about this before. I'm okay with games taking the plunge at $70, but it better be a $70 game, right?
Yeah.
It better not be a 5-hour single player campaign with just multiplayer and then microtransactions. You know,
I watched the trailer for this, the single player campaign, and it has a lot of allusions to the original games, the Modern Warfare games, and it was kind of some cool, nice callbacks, and it got me really hyped. But when you said 5-hour campaign, my mind went right back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, because that's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. Modern Warfare 1 was like a super long, awesome campaign. It was like 20 plus hours. And then 2 was shorter, but the multiplayer was really robust. So everyone was like, oh, that's okay with it. But 3, man, 5-hour campaign, and it was rough.
That's what they can't. If they're going to
that can't be $70.
Do that. People will riot.
And this is they're saying they're justifying it because people are getting a cross-gen bundle so that they can play both generations of the game. But also, it went up on PC by $10, so that kind of is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think when we had that discussion when we were advocating for studios to increase the price to $70, I think we were not really considering this that this would absolutely be the first. It's either this or FIFA or any annual release. Of course, not the ones that are providing value like God of War game or the next Horizon Zero Dawn will be the first $70 title, which you'd be like, "Oh, okay, fuck yeah, that's cool."
That makes sense.
No,
the last
of course
God of
it has
War
to be
should have been 70.
Yes, absolutely. But of course it's going to be the shit title that they just pump out one a year and it's garbage and they're like, "Oh, and now you know who's going to be the first people that'll play 70 is the saps that buy the same game every year, of course."
Yeah. They're like, "Well, I got to get it. It's Call of Duty. I loved Modern Warfare." So
was this $60 last year? I don't care, just ring it up.
Just ring it up. It's a tax or something, I don't know.
I don't really care. Microsoft is partnering with Samsung to bring cloud gaming to smart TVs. If you have a Samsung smart TV, you know damn well this isn't going to fucking work because nothing on your TV works. Yeah.
Like medium works.
There's at least 10 people out there nodding vigorously like, yeah, my Samsung TV sucks. And there's no support for it. They drop support for it after like a year. And then your TV just kind of just sucks forever. But this is starting on June 30th. Hundreds of cloud-enabled games attached to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is that one that's like $15 a month.
Yeah.
They're going to be available through Samsung's Gaming Hub, which is like any streaming app on a TV. I should look on mine. I'm sure it's not available. My TV is like 2 years old, and it feels like it's 20. I Google stuff, and they're like, "Oh, that model, that piece of shit. You have one of those in your house still? Are you kidding me?"
Get rid of that.
Yeah, get rid of that. You don't want that, man.
Ugh, good luck selling it. The dump doesn't even take those anymore.
Yeah, there's a pile of those outside the dump because they don't allow them in. Yeah, so that's my TV. Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, they, I guess they can already play. Oh, no, they'll be able to play some of the games they already own. Oh, okay.
I don't know how. My first question was, wait, how am I playing this? So does my controller hook up to my TV?
Uncertain.
I don't know how
Not
this
described
works.
In this. I assume the gaming hub. It's not in this article, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what is in this article? Forget that. Who cares? Because like, what a joke! Like, no one. If any of you listeners hop on Discord and let me know if you get this working. But I can't imagine this is actually going to work. This reminds, hey, dude, if Google couldn't get it working on their own proprietary TVs, how the fuck is Microsoft going to get it working on the notoriously the worst smart TVs out there? I don't know. Good luck. That would be weird. But in this article, this is insane. This is another program that Microsoft's rolling out that actually sounds like it could be cool, is that they will be letting independent game developers promote upcoming titles by sharing their demos on Game Pass. So it's called Project Moorcroft. That's kind of weird.
Why do they have such a problem with naming? I don't get it.
It's not even fun anymore to make fun of them. It's just low hanging
fruit. So stupid.
I don't. Fish in a stupid barrel. Stupid Moorcroft barrel. It's Moorcroft, by the way.
This means nothing. That means
nothing.
Nonsense
word. I chose a nonsense word.
Anyway.
But dude, so you're an indie dev. You can put your demo on Game Pass, and then you can track how well it's doing. So just like how Steam games lets developers track that. Microsoft would also compensate them for this because they're like, hey, you're putting your demos on Game Pass. People are playing your shit on Game Pass. We pay people who are letting people play shit on Game Pass. So they're going to pay indie devs to put just a fucking demo on Game Pass if it's downloaded a lot and people are playing it a lot. This is the coolest shit ever. And it was just buried at the bottom of this stupid bullshit Samsung article.
That's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, isn't that so cool?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I love that. That's what I always want. I've been saying this for a long time. I just want more demos so I can try more stuff. Mm-hmm. I will spend more money if I can try your game first.
A demo is so huge to me.
It's guaranteed, because if I play the demo and I'm having I don't know, a medium amount of fun,
Mm-hmm.
usually I'm going to be like, I want to continue this medium amount of fun, and the demo's over, so I guess I'm going to buy it.
Also, a pretty fun difference in approaches to developer relations between Microsoft and Sony. If you remember, Sony a couple of weeks ago announced that they would be requiring any AAA devs or any developer selling a title over, I think, $40 on the PlayStation Store to include a demo. So PlayStation is demanding demos. Microsoft is trying to encourage demos just from indie devs.
Yeah.
Which is honestly who I think needs to be doing them more.
Absolutely.
But the fact that they could get paid, the fact that they are being indie developers are being granted the tool, the access to the same tools as all these other huge developers on Game Pass. And that's so huge. I mean, not to say there aren't indie devs already on Game Pass, because there are. But I think that's such an awesome opportunity, and might eat into Steam's business and their stranglehold, kind of their monopoly on indies, that indies might start looking elsewhere, which is really cool. So
hey, real quick tidbit, I googled Moorcroft.
Yeah, what that mean?
Moorcroft is there's two main things.
Is it a castle?
Nope. There's a town in Wyoming.
Okay, that can't be right.
A population 1,009.
Wow, that's a huge Wyoming town. Is that like the 14th largest town in Wyoming?
The hub of Wyoming? I don't know.
It's the tech hub. They call it Moorcroft Slope, or Silicon Croft.
Silicroft. Oh, we got it at the same time. And then there is a Moorcroft. The number one result is Moorcroft Pottery. It is a British pottery manufacturer.
You were right. It's a nonsense word. It's a made up nonsense word. And you know the worst part is, Peterson? I could get there on Moorcroft, but that's the placeholder for a far dumber name. That TBD.
Probably a smaller town in Wyoming, to be 100% honest.
Even dumber name. It'll be like something, it'll be called like Indimo or some dumbass fucking name, more like, wow, can we go back to Moorcroft?
It's Project Moorcroft. They're going to call it Derek. Microsoft Derek. And you're like,
Derek. But it's not spelled like either of the Dereks you might think.
No.
The oil kind, or the person that you went to high school with that had the big front teeth. Yeah. Neither of those guys. EA has refuted a new report claiming that Battlefield 2042's development is now in, quote, abandoned ship mode. EA says, this started off with Jeff Grubb on his Grub Snacks Giant Bomb show. I don't know who that is. He claimed that the remaining team has been that's working on Battlefield 2042 has been tasked with delivering the last 4 seasons of live content, and as quickly and as cheaply as possible. That's what he claimed, talking to people that he knew who worked there. And EA just responded to Eurogamer and said it was untrue, and there is, quote, a significant team at DICE alongside our other studios focused on evolving and improving the Battlefield 2042 experience for all players. All players? There's like 40 players left playing that game. Yeah. I want to look right now. How many people are playing Battlefield 2042 right now?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, you're gonna have to look it up, because I was looking up towns in Wyoming.
Oh my god, dude! There's 7,500 people playing Battlefield 2042. You're telling me these guys are working their asses off for 7,500 people? That is also the population of a small town in Wyoming.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually the whole population of Wyoming is playing Battlefield still.
That's who they're developing for. So I would like to say I doubt what EA said. I don't think it's truthful. I don't think they're working on this game. I think anyone with like any sense of reason who's been watching the downfall of this title would know that 4 seasons, They're honestly telling us that they're going to make 4 like solid seasons while they're also fixing all the shit that was wrong with Battlefield 2042 for the 7,500 Battlefield fans that, I don't know, don't have another Battlefield game.
Yeah, I don't. So here's how I kind of judge how popular something is. Because I follow video game news, right? I go in, I'm looking for stuff, I'm looking up stories. I'm on video game subreddits and Facebook groups and all these things, right? If I hear nothing about this game since release and all I heard was bad things upon release, like the game is pretty much dead, right? That means it's not going to do fantastic. And like, because there are games like well, the space one,
No Man's Sky. How many No Man's Skies are there?
But
there's one. It's called No Man's Sky. There's only one. It's the one we always reference because it never fucking happens.
Well, in like, yeah, well, that's the thing. And I heard about No Man's Sky a lot. I was seeing stuff about it always. 2042?
No.
Dude, I haven't heard about this game. Like when we were watching the Summer Game Fest, they mentioned Outriders. They're doing an Outriders expansion, and I was like, oh, that's still a thing? Because I have heard zero Outriders chatter. Like I haven't seen people being like, hey, I got an Outriders group going. Who wants to play with me? Nothing. Same with 2042. I'm not hearing anything. I haven't thought about this game since it came out.
Yeah. But EA, to their credit, is working.
Sizable team.
Yeah, honestly, it's at least 500 people, and they're crunching weekends, holidays to get you $7,500 or 7,500 Battlefield fans.
They got like half of a Moorcroft working on this.
The ESA is claiming that E3 will be back in 2023. I also doubt this.
Oof.
This quote, we're excited about coming back in 2023 with both a digital and an in-person event. ESA president and CEO Stan Pierre-Louis told the Washington Post was talking to him. Quote, as much as we love these digital events and as much as they reach people and we want that global reach, we also know that there's a really strong desire for people to convene and be able to connect in person and see each other and talk about what makes games great. Did this guy have a fucking word count he was trying to fill? Just said the same thing like 8 times.
He's got a word count on his article.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think this is going to happen. What do you think, Peterson? You think E3's back after 2 years off? 3 years off?
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think they will try to bring it back, and we will just see. And I think they're going to try a couple times. They'll try a couple different things. I think it will fizzle out, essentially. I think they'll come back next year with an event, and everyone's going to be like, why? Including the game companies.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we've done great doing our own thing. Microsoft doing their own thing. Nintendo does their own thing. Bethesda, right? Everyone, or Bethesda's Microsoft. But yeah, they all jump in, and they're all been kind of doing their own thing, and they're getting the same amount of coverage.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think they're just going to come back and be like, why am I going to pay for this? Why am I going to pay for a huge booth, for a big setup, all the man hours, all the things? Like, it seems pointless.
And they're not on their own schedule anymore. Now they're operating on E3 time, which always leads to crunch versus just release it when it's ready, which is a lot easier.
So, yeah, I think the last 2 years has seen kind of the final iteration of E3. I think it's just going to die out and fizzle out. They'll try it again 1 or 2 more times. It won't be successful. Then they'll be like, okay, well, we're going to shelf this. We're done, And
should we go? Should we go to like the last
historic
E3, the sad, dumb E3? We went to one of the last BlizzCons, didn't we?
Yeah. I haven't been really sick for a long time either.
And we went to the last Salt Lake Gaming Con. Dude, are we con cursing cons to death?
Yeah, maybe.
Did we kill BlizzCon and the Salt Lake Gaming Con?
Yeah, we did. Who else do we want to target? This is
easy. Good thing SaltCon pulled out. We should stay away from them though.
That's right.
Bubblersty alert. A man spent $6,000 on Diablo Immortal, and he got 0 5-star legendary gems.
Dude, this is
hilarious.
I was so happy when I saw this story.
Gold.
This guy has spent, I mean, he's a New Zealander, I think it says. So he spent 10,000 New Zealand dollars, which is about 6,600 US dollars. And got 0 5-star legendary gems. And that's like what you're going for, right? That's the best of the best. That's what you want. None of it. He got nothing.
So, to be fair, this is kind of a troll he was doing because he was going through a specific part of the game's system. It was essentially the most inefficient way possible. If he actually wanted to get these legendary gems for $6,000, he could have gotten a bunch of legendary gems. The whole point he was trying to make is that you shouldn't be able to try to buy them this way at all, because they're impossible to get. So even advertising that there's a slight chance you might get a legendary gem is in and of itself like super dishonest and shitty. And so that's, I think, what his whole point was. And yeah, he got 0 using this. There's a 1% chance you get it on every like roll or whatever. And then there's also a pity system if you haven't won them in a while. But the pity system is so small, it's also a 1% chance. And so it doesn't actually really increase your chances all that much.
No.
And you can spend that much money and get nothing. I mean, you got other things. But whatever this primo currency is, have you played it enough? Peterson, did you play it?
Yes, I did. I played it.
Do you know what these are? Or like,
no,
you haven't even gotten to that. I heard they hide the monetization.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't as. I mean, I haven't played a lot. If I'm being honest, I played it probably 3 or 4 times, and just I can't get into it. I'm not interested. I tried, and it's still on my phone, and I know I'm never going to boot it up again.
I love that.
But yeah, so he. But I didn't see the monetization like in my face at all.
Apparently, it's like an end game, mid to late game thing. Yep. When they know they've hooked you already, then they're like, "All right, time."
Oh, you're playing now, and you need the good gear.
Oh, you like this game? Ha ha ha! No, you hate it now.
How do you still like it? All right, we better ramp it up. I don't know how this
costs a lot more money to like it now. Isn't that fun?
You know what? That is a good strategy. If you really don't want to spend the cash to develop a late game, you just try to make everyone hate your game midway through, right? So they stop playing before they even get to that point. So you never have to even code it.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Is that a strategy? I feel like that's a strategy now. If it's not, we should start this.
I think it could make us a lot of money. Maybe that's just me. It might work though, because apparently, according to Blizzard, this game has been downloaded 10 million times.
Huh.
I'm curious of those 10 million downloads, how many of them are in Peterson's same place where it's just like, I haven't gotten that far. I haven't even gotten to the point where I could spend money, because that looks really good. Investors like to see 10 million downloads, but also, where is that translating to dollars?
I'm going to be really interested when we start seeing some numbers, if we ever see numbers about Diablo Immortal, because it's free to play, free to download. So tons of people are going to download it. I'm looking at an article right now that says they're guesstimating current player count around 5 to 6 million, and so, and I think you're
currently 5 to 6 million.
I think you're going to see that dropping and dropping and dropping continually. But I'm interested to see how much money they end up making, year one. And I think we'll have to wait for next year's investing, earnings call or whatever.
And it's important to remember this is free. This is free to play.
Right. You're not paying anything to download it. So you can just jump in for free and start playing.
And 10 million downloads for a free-to-play title on mobile, a free-to-play mobile title. So everyone, don't you have phones? Yeah. everyone has phones. And I think that is now that I keep looking at that number and just think, because like I'm trying to think of other numbers, because JD's sales report makes me very number centric. But think of, like, isn't Valheim up close to 10 million sales? I know they got over 8, and I don't know if they were at 9. But to think that a indie game made by 5 people on a single platform on PC in early access was in the neighborhood of a AAA huge IP. By the way, Valheim's a brand new IP. A huge IP. And they can only get, and it's free on phones, and they can only get 10 million downloads.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, 10 million is still a big number, but I don't know. I don't know how well they'll do in terms of getting people to spend money. I think that's the real key here. And if the numbers that we've seen so far is any indication, I don't think they're going to get a lot of people spending a ton of money, right? $110,000 to max out your character, if you just did it by money, that's not what keeps people going. You've got to get that gambling secret sauce where you got to let them get that every now and then dopamine hit of getting what they, want to get. If they never get it, then it's just a downer every single time. You got to let them get it every now and then.
Well, it's a downer, and it's like, should be borderline illegal. $6,000 and I get nothing out of that, dude. No consolation. That's fucking crazy. You can't advertise. I'm sure, like I said, he was getting other things in these polls. I'm sure he was getting characters or weapons or whatever.
He's getting epic gear and getting, that sort of thing. But yeah.
But the thing is like, you, in the little tooltip or whatever, it says you can get legendary gems off of this. You can't advertise that. Sorry, you can't.
Also, 1%, you would think, statistically, if he did it 100 times, he would get it once. Well, he did it. It was $25. I think isn't that what it said?
Dude, that is insane. When you walk through a casino and you see a $25 poll, you play it once. Yeah. The idea that they baked that into a mobile game and it doesn't give you like something amazing, like what the hell? Like the stakes are different too. You have a $25 poll. Aren't those you would know this more than me, Peterson? Aren't those jackpots enormous versus like a $1 jackpot on like a penny slot or a dollar slots?
Well, they're usually multiplied, right? So you're usually playing a dollar slot, and then you're doing the 5 times multiplier to do $5 a pull type of thing, and then the jackpot's like so much bigger.
So you want me to play Diablo Immortal at the same price point as another game that I can play that could win me $1 million, and your potential is that I can win nothing at all?
Yeah.
What is this game?
It's crazy. I would be interested if we have listeners, because I know we had a few people who were playing it.
Yeah, I think Silverthorn said they played it
still into it.
Who? Oh, if anyone's still into it.
I'd be interested to see who's still into it.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's so wild to me. That is. I've never heard of a $25 like anything in a mobile game. So that's
dropping 25 bones at a time.
Wow.
Kudos.
All right, kudos is our positivity segment. I'd like to bring it up after a negative dip into the news. And man, I have kudos for a classic. I guess it's a classic now. I remember I saw it once when it came out. And then, funny story, there's a clip of it that's shown in Bowling for Columbine that I saw a lot. And that was what I'm more familiar with. But this movie's called The Sixth Day. If you guys remember, this came out in the early 2000s with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Peterson, do you remember this film?
No, not at all.
Nothing. Are you Googling it?
Bell.
Google it and tell me the date it came out. Because I think it was like 2002 maybe. And it's a really interesting, it's a futuristic
2000.
2000. Oh, cool. So it's pre 9/11, which is very obvious in the film, by the way. Like it's just a different time period. It's like right at the tail end of the 90s. And it's imagine like a really clumsy Gattaca where it's all about human cloning and the potential implications of that, told clumsily through a Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle. And I watched it recently because I was like, Jenna, this is like a great Saturday afternoon dumb movie you just put on. And we had like a really active Saturday, so we laid down like late afternoon, just put this dumb movie on. And like I said, I hadn't seen it in like, what has it been, like 20 years? Dude, it's awesome. It is like the fact, Peterson, that you haven't seen it at all. It's on Hulu.
Dude, I haven't even heard of it. This is like, it's not even ringing a bell when I look at the images. I don't even know what this is.
Dude, I'll just give you this. I give you this pitch for the 6th day with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Do it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, at the climax of the film, tells the main bad guy, the guy that runs the cloning company, that maybe he should go he should make a clone of himself. Guy says, why? He says, so you can go fuck yourself.
I feel like if you're doing a cloning movie, like, you got to use that line.
You got to have. It's like they wrote the whole movie around that line. It's fantastic. Dude, the plot, like, machinations are almost impossible to follow. They are so complex that I sit there, like, after I watched the film, I was like, how the fuck was Arnold even involved in that? Like, why was he fucking there? And then you figure it out, you work it out, and you're like, really? That's a stretch? I guess I'm with you. It's like oddly way smarter than a Schwarzenegger flick. It seems like they wrote a really smart movie, and then Schwarzenegger showed up, and they're like, they just hit the writer over the head with a bat a couple times, and then they're like, okay, can you rewrite it around Schwarzenegger? And he's like, yeah, I got this. I wrote this once already.
You've heard the guy talk. He has to be way less smart than this.
Yeah. And that's how it... Dude, super fun. There's a super creepy doll in it. Oh,
just 'cause?
Like, phenomenally creepy. Like, I have, like, no words. Jenna was, like, extraordinarily uncomfortable. We're talking, like, Uncanny Valley, the definition of... Peterson, Google...
the blonde girl with the big eyes?
Yes. And
I saw that in the picture.
And she's got this, like, weird frog mouth. There's, like... I'll explain this. This isn't really a spoiler. Arnold goes to a cloning place at the mall to see if they can clone his dead dog, but then he's really uncomfortable with the idea of cloning his dead dog. Instead, he picks up like a fucking creepy robot doll for his daughter, and it like talks and has like very human like facial motions, but also extremely not human facial motions. And I don't know why, but at some point during the film, the bad guys are like beating up Arnold. They're trying to kill him, and he drops the doll. And they say, grab the doll. So they grab the doll, and they're chasing Arnold with the doll in the back seat. And it's just yakking because it's like a doll that talks. And eventually, one of the bad guys shoots the doll and throws its head out the window. And at that point, you realize, why did they grab the doll? It's just for more FaceTime. It's so fucking creepy.
You gotta get that doll in the movie.
Honestly, I couldn't think of a horror movie with a creepier doll in it than The Sixth Day. It's on Hulu. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It is so long. It's way longer than it should be. It's way dumber than it should be. We watched it in 2 sessions. The Sixth Day, it's up there with like, it's not Waterworld tier, honestly. But it's pretty good.
It's got like a cast of people who you would recognize.
Michael Rapaport plays Arnold's best friend.
Michael Rooker is in it.
Michael Kruger is great in it.
And then
gets his leg shot off.
We've got Terry Crews.
Terry Crews' debut role, his very first movie role. Yeah, someone read the IMDb after he watched it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, super funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's fucking good. Peterson, Colin's what, 10?
Yeah.
There's no 12. Blood because there's no bullets. They use laser guns. They do shoot off a guy's leg, and so that'd be the goriest part. But I think you should watch it with your boys. This would be a good dumb maybe screen it. But is it rated R? He does say that's their one F word, And by the way, I thought the MPAA doesn't let you use an F word in a PG-13 movie if it was sexual in nature. Is go fuck yourself when you're directly describing two clones. They're like, oh, how is he going to fuck himself? They're both boys. Was that what they did? Was that what they said? Is that why they're like, oh, that's not like
that doesn't make
a
sense.
Sexual. That doesn't make sense.
Which yeah.
They couldn't fathom that, so they're like, "Oh no, that isn't
not
like
a sexual use."
Dude, am I? You know, that's like a rule, right? You can use an F word or two, but they can't.
Yeah, that's a rule.
And this is absolutely a violation of that fucking rule.
Wow,
I think they couldn't picture him like how he could fuck himself.
Like that. What a weird line.
That's just it. Just kind of came out of the blue. I just don't understand it. Anyway, PG-13 stamped. Peterson, do you have any kudos?
Yes, so I got a kudos for a show that my sister actually just showed me. She said, you got to watch this. It's called Derry Girls, and Derry is spelled Derry.
Yeah, like the town from all of Stephen King's books.
Yes. And so Derry Girls is it's classifies itself as a dark comedy. It's about a bunch of teenage girls in the 90s in Northern Ireland. So just fair warning, like you definitely should watch this with subtitles on, because most of it you're getting, most of the lines you're getting, but
it's
sometimes
English adjacent.
Right. They will say a lot of slang and you're like, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't even know what that word would be. And then you see it written and you're like, okay. And so, like, for example, there's what they kept calling kids Waynes, Wains, Waynes. And I think it is we uns mixed together into Waynes. The Waynes. Wayans. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But like if you weren't reading it, you'd be like, I like you reading it, and you're still not sure, but you're like context clues putting it together. Anyway.
Is it North Irish that cannot becomes canay?
No. Well, I don't know.
Or is that Scottish? Anyway.
That's Scottish, I think. Anyway, but yeah, their accent is phenomenal. It's so good. I love it the whole time. But it's very funny. And when they say dark humor, it's because it takes place at a time when the IRA was very active and there was a lot of horrible things happening. But, like, it's not political at all. Like, they'll just sit there and comment on the IRA. Like, in the first episode, they're all annoyed. Everyone's annoyed. No one is upset.
Like it's the weather.
They're all, annoyed because they're being inconvenienced because the IRA is going to blow up a bridge. And they're all very annoyed at the inconvenience this is causing. Nobody's mad about it. They're all like,
very British.
And at one point they're like, will they just blow it up already? Because it's all sectioned off.
Yeah.
And the other funny thing that I use as a selling point, because I thought it was so funny, they go to an all-girls school. And it's like a Catholic girls' school or something, whatever. And well, of course, the head sister, hates kids. She hates the kids, and she's not like the old nun. She's like younger, and she just like hates them so much, which is really funny. But one of the girls has a cousin from England who is visiting. Dude, everything about this cousin is funny. It's a boy, and he's going to the girls' school because everyone was too worried that all the boys would beat him up because he's English.
Mm-hmm.
And they just call him the biggest sissy, such a sissy. And they're like, well, he's a kind of a girly boy anyways. He's not. He's just like a normal dude.
He's British, though.
He's English. His stupid English accent. They hate him. They crap on him the whole time. Dude, at one point he needs to pee and there's no boys' bathrooms. And he's like, where do I pee? And they're like, will you please shut up about going pee? Like everyone, the teachers, the students, everyone's so annoyed because he won't stop talking about it.
Oh my God.
He eventually pees in a garbage can. It's super funny. Anyway, it's called Derry Girls. I highly recommend it. It's not a show you watch with the kids around. There's like one character who has a very foul mouth. In fact, her first introduction is that she said, I'm starting I'm starting a new thing. I'm saying the word mother effers a lot." And she just says it a lot. And it's pretty funny.
I should start that new thing. That's a good new thing.
I'm doing this new thing, and everyone's like, "Why? Why are you doing this?" Anyways, it's so good. I've only seen 2 episodes, but I think it is just a delight to watch. It's very funny, so I would recommend it. It's called Dairy Girls, Derry, on Netflix. Yeah,
cool.
Error. No soundbite available. Boobs.
Okay, so this next thing we got here, I want to talk about Summer Game Fest. I guess what we call it Summer Game Fest, but it's just like that's one thing. There's also these other summer things. There's just like summer stuff, bunch of games that were released and talked about.
Well, it's funny because Summer Game Fest is a thing. It's called Summer Game Fest, but like that happened Friday maybe.
And some of these games I think I'm talking about probably weren't part of that directly.
Well, yeah, and then there was like Microsoft did a thing yesterday, and like they're just like, I don't know. That's why E3 is not going to work anymore. Everyone's like, well, just do our own thing.
It's so it's so divided at this point that I think forging it back together would be a very tall order.
Trying to convince everyone to come back. I don't know.
Yeah. So Peterson and I did some. I think all of us saw some trailers and saw some games we're interested in. So we figured we'd pick 3 or 4 or whatever of these announcements or games that are coming out that had us really excited, and we'll just break them down.
Yes, I don't want to talk about the ones I wasn't excited about because that's most of them, but there was a few that I was into.
Dude, even Jeff Keighley, I think, right? That's like Summer Games Fest is this thing. He came out and was like, dude, keep it muted. Like, this isn't going to be a big fucking, like, there's not, like, going to be Skyrim 2 or some shit. Like, he's like, this is going to be a pretty chill event. And it was. And like Peterson said, there was, some, like, boring stuff, some fairly exciting stuff. But I don't think anyone was trying to knock any socks off. Does that sound like...
Yeah.
It's just like, here's some cool games that are out. So I kind of like that. I kind of appreciated it. The first thing that was for me, I think I've already talked about in the past, but they had an extended trailer. The developer did an extended trailer where he talked through the gameplay and he talked through the game. This game is Choo Choo Charles. Peterson, I don't know if you're familiar. This is that creepy. I'll send you a link to it.
Choo Choo Charles
in the Zencaster. Yeah, it's a game where you're on a island and there is a train that drives around that island. It's your train, and it's like a train engine, and you can jump on it and just drive around the island, or you can jump off and explore the island. When you are off the train, it turns into kind of a survival horror game where at any moment a haunted spider train called Choo Choo Charles.
That's all I'm seeing images of is this like clown spider train.
Yeah, imagine if you had if you took like way too much LSD and then had a nightmare about Thomas the Tank Engine after you'd been bit by a Black Widow. And this is what you would imagine. I imagine you'd see.
Wild.
So this spider train chases you, and I'm not usually into survival horror. You guys know that. Peterson, you probably know that. I'm not like a big horror guy. But basically, if you're exploring too long or if you trigger something, and there are cultists that will chase you down to sacrifice you to the train, Choo Choo Charlie. So basically, you're stopping your train, you're driving around, you stop it, you run off, you loot really quickly, and you run and jump back on the train. The train you're upgrading, you're putting on a new machine gun, you're putting on a faster engine, X, Y, or Z, so you can continue to fight Charlie, because if you, say, trigger the evil train and then you run back to your engine, well, he's still going to be chasing you when you pull away in your train, and now you're fighting him from your train because you can't fight him on foot.
I'm watching a video, you're like shooting him with a 50 cal that's loaded on the back of your little yellow train.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an analogy for a game, but it's basically like you're running back to your base, And you can only you can only actually hurt the enemy when you're in your base, but you have to go outside of your base to collect goods and improve your base. In this case, your base is a moving base and it's just a small train engine. The concept of it is just, it appeals to me. I don't know. Is that scratching an itch for you too, Peterson? Are you conceptually?
I'm watching the videos of this, which I had not seen. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, I don't know why, but this does seem like it would be pretty fun.
It
seems because
creepy.
Then you're in your train and you set the train's path. Like you got it moving and you set the path and you just there's tracks all over the world, go to different parts of the map. And then you've got like equipment on your train. And like JD said, you're upgrading it as you're going and you hop off, go grab some mats. But you got to be careful because Charles is going to come and attack you. And he is creepy. Make no mistake, Choo Choo Charles is creepy. But yeah, you just...
I don't know, so dude. Weird. Why am I so fucking... I'm very happy I'm not the only one.
I think the concept of like your whole base is moving with you. You have limited time. You have to like run out, grab the stuff you need, and then come back before Choo Choo Charles finds you. Don't get caught too far out. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know why that seems interesting.
And it has to be a horror game in my mind. Like this doesn't work if you get rid of the abject fear of this thing getting you, because then you're just like, oh, I'll just go explore really far. There has to be something that's...
Yeah, you don't want Charles to get you. I'm watching a video where he's changed his gun on the back of his train to a flamethrower,
like a grenade launcher or a flamethrower. Yeah,
and he's lighting the track on fire behind him,
and the grass
Charles is chasing him, and he's getting burned as he goes. Like, it's wild. This is wild.
Check this out. Just Google Choo Choo Charles. I'm just watching a trailer on YouTube, but
on Steam's page. I'm just watching the videos on the actual Steam page.
Okay, yeah, this was already on my radar from a very brief creepy trailer of it that just showed the gameplay of the train chasing you and you running back on the train. So I already knew the concept of the game.
This is so weird.
But somehow having the developer interview in this summer game thing, whatever, and him breaking it down made it very clear. Like Peterson said, this game is very thought out and fleshed out. It's not just like a gimmick. It reminded me of how I saw Carry On. You remember Carry On? The trailer, the initial trailer, which showed him flopping around, and you're like, wow, conceptually, that's awesome. And it's a cool horror game. I like that. And then somehow 5 years later, the exact game that you envisioned came out. And you're like, oh, well, thanks for making that. That's what I hope is happening with this. So I'm really stoked about this. Peterson, what's on your radar? Is it on your wish list? Did you wish list it?
I just did.
I knew it.
The reviews, I mean, it's like like organizations, reviewing it like Time, and all it says is, I must admit the trailer is oddly compelling.
Yes.
PC Gamer, Choo Choo Charles is a very bad train, but you have a machine gun. Good luck. Eurogamer, trains shouldn't do this sort of thing. They just shouldn't. Why is this interesting to me? I have no idea, but it is.
You're going to be playing it with me. We're going to play Choo Choo Charlie together.
Choo Choo Charles, it is bizarre, but yeah, I am interested. That's really funny. Okay, so the first one I have, I think this one's obvious, no-brainer. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Did you see the trailers for this at all?
No. I'm going to look this up.
It looks like classic TMNT games. And here's why I'm excited. I was watching it and I was like, this looks fun. Like, I would play this, but I also wouldn't buy this. I don't want to buy this. Guess what? On Game Pass. This thing's coming out on Game Pass.
Oh, definitely.
And I can't tell you, like, not there. It doesn't seem like there's anything revolutionary about this. It looks like an old school beat 'em up
vintage
TMNT game. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. And
but it is. It's got. I feel like it is a little spiffed up. Kind of like
the visuals. It has like a little bit of the blocky visuals, but they look better. Does that make sense?
It's still very very retro, but clean. If you saw this game in 1996, it would explode your brain, but you wouldn't.
Like, holy crap!
You'd be like, it would be within the expected realm of that software, I think.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the only you can play with as Casey Jones. It looks like, which he was a favorite of mine.
So sick.
Yeah, I don't know. You can play as April O'Neil, like she's in there fighting.
I'm sorry, 6-player online co-op, local or online, 6-player beat 'em up.
Dude, I'm gonna play this with my kids for sure.
Is that
maybe
established?
JD, like
in TMNT, like that you could play a
No.
6-player version,
No.
so you can play with all of the turtles and
April
Casey Jones
and
Splinter.
Oh, Splinter's there too.
So you can play a 6-pack.
Dude,
they just because there's a
funny?
scene in the trailer where all 6 of them are standing there in front of that pig guy.
Yeah, Rocksteady
or
Bebop.
What?
I never knew which one was which.
Wow.
Anyway,
it
just looks like like another good time beat 'em up game.
If this is on Game Pass, it's the most perfect Game Pass ever because everyone can have it and everyone can play it.
Yep, and
this will sell Game Pass.
In fact, that's what I said while we were Silverthorn was live messaging. I don't want to say tweeting. He was putting Discord messages while Summer Games Fest was going on in our Discord. And that was my first comment was, I want to play this game. I don't want to buy it. I hope it's on Game Pass. And Silverthorn said, I just looked it up. It's on Game Pass. And I was like, I'm in. Like, I am 100%
Wait, it's on now?
No. When it comes out.
Oh, it will be. Okay.
When's it released?
It's up for pre-order
Shredders.
June 16th on my birthday.
Oh, that's in like a couple days.
Yeah, that's really soon here.
All right. Yeah, cool. Shredder's Revenge, Game Pass.
It's $35.
Yeah. See, I would not buy this. That's the thing. There's not a world
we
where I
have
would
to
buy
play this together. Jackson, download this, you dummy. Jackson will play with us. Here's one. Did you see this one? The Plucky Squire.
Plucky Squire?
I'll send you the trailer.
Which one was this on?
PS5 exclusive. This was from PlayStation. It looks really cool. It looks cute. It's like it's like you start it. It's like you're a storybook character, and so you're like, oh, it's gonna be like a storybook. But then you jump out of the storybook onto the desk where the storybook is sitting, and now you're playing in a more 3D environment. But I think your character can also go back to 2D. Like it shows him like running around a coffee cup on which he is now animated on the side of the coffee cup.
Yeah.
And so it has these kind of different I think it'll be kind of a puzzler game that has these whatever. I don't know what you would call those shifts
where you're kind of mini games. It says storybook characters discover a 3-dimensional world outside the pages of their book and must jump between 2D and 3D realms to save their friends in this charming action adventure. So yeah, that's exactly it. You're running around on the desk, Toy Story style in the kid's room, it looks like.
Yes.
And then you jump into the storybook and you run around in there and like you're on the pages of a book. And you're truly on the pages of a book, like you're 2D. And then, like JD said, you jump onto a cup that has enemies on it, and then the cup, it looks like it's going to be turning, and you're going to be running around it. Yeah, interesting.
And this is from Devolver Digital. Guys, I got to say, if you have money, invest in Devolver Digital. I don't know what they're doing, but it seems like they're just doing like... They are the guys that did Weird West that we just played, Peterson.
Yeah. Yep.
And they just seem to have kind of like... I don't know. They did Carry On as well.
I just keep seeing some of these things.
Yeah, their name is always on really cool games, it seems like.
Huh.
Jenna described this game after she watched the trailer. She's like, oh, it's like if It Takes Two was good.
Dude, I thought of It Takes Two right away as well. Isn't that funny?
It looks like an It Takes Two that I actually want to play. That doesn't look like a shitty, weird, stupid game. So the Plucky Squire is on PS5. I do not know when. It doesn't say. But that one had my interest.
Be on Steam too. That's where I was looking at it.
I thought it was a PS5 exclusive, but maybe that's just because it was being advertised by PlayStation.
Yeah. So let's see. I think, yeah, it's on Steam. So release date it says 2023.
Wishlisted.
Yep.
Done.
So there you go.
Cool. Your turn.
Stormgate. Okay. Stormgate. This was a game I wasn't asking for or looking for. Stormgate is an RTS. RTS is a genre that I feel like they don't do very well.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to get into. But the thing that makes me hopeful is this is being made by folks who worked on Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2.
Good
So
pedigrees.
Frost Giant Studios. It looks interesting. It's at least one that I'll wish list. They're doing a beta in 2023, and here's what I loved even more than anything. So I saw this and I was like, cool. Then they actually did an interview with the dev, cool. And then they said it's free to play. Because he said we just want to be able to get a lot of people into the game. We want a lot of people to be able to jump in and play it and have access to it. So there will be microtransactions of some sort.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. If I want to play a good RTS, these guys have the pedigree, right? Warcraft 2, 3, and StarCraft 2, they've got the pedigree, and they're doing what they know. They're doing what they love. So I'm interested. I want to try it out. It's free, so
cheap to try.
Yeah, so why wouldn't I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's called. It's funny too because I saw the. If you go and look, are you looking at it at all? Stormgate. There's a O in Stormgate, and the O immediately. I was like, that looks like the O. Who's developing this? It looks like the O from Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this Blizzard? And I was like,
the whole logo looks almost deliberately like they made it Blizzardy,
right?
On purpose.
I know, that's what it felt like. And then I was like, oh, former Blizzard developers. So anyway, it looks interesting. RTS.
Why did they feel the need to put a free to play game that on Steam? I don't know. It's just I've never heard of that model. Free to play RTS.
I haven't either.
How do you put microtransactions in an RTS without making it pay to win?
Skins. Throw some skins in there. I don't know.
Just make me pay for the fucking game. I just don't trust you. The second I say free to play, you've lost all my trust.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. What says free to play, never pay to win. Free to play so everyone can enjoy the fun of RTS.
Yikes.
Yes. Oh, support the development of additional content that you will enjoy. So yes, they'll add more stuff that you can buy. Probably that's what their plan is.
Weird. You guys are being weird. Just charge me money,
dude. Just charge me like $25.
That's it. Come on. I cheated. Well, okay. I had 3, and then Jenna went down this rabbit hole, so I have 4. So I have 2 more. The first one I'll go quick. It's called Skate Story. Did you see this one?
No.
I'll send you the link to the.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's a skating game. You play as a demon.
What?
You're cursed though. You're made out of glass, and if you fall, you'll explode. And I think you're trying to skate your way out of hell or something.
Grind, ollie, kickflip, and grind your way through the ash and smoke of the underworld.
It's. Long story short, it's just like a really pretty, trippy looking skating game where you play as a crystal, or glass crystalline character, and if you fall, obviously you explode. Just looks like a new. I told Jenna, I was like, too bad this wasn't out for your sports game.
That's right.
If it comes out and it's good and the gameplay is great, would I rather play as a crazy crystal in a weird, trippy, multicolored afterlife, or would I rather play Tony Hawk? I'd rather play the crystal stuff. So
yeah, except if you fall one time, you still got to start over. That's going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the gameplay adjusts for that, but yeah, that one looks kind of cool. That one was on my radar. But then one that Jetta brought up to me that I saw, and I was like, after I saw the trailer, I was just so hooked. It's called Angerfoot. That's Angerfoot.
2 words.
This is another one from Devolver Digital.
Dude, the other one was too. The last one you talked about
Skate
was
Story?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Invest in fucking Devolver, you guys. I'm serious. They will be making money here in the next year because they have some really cool titles coming. And just anyway, Angerfoot is as Peterson is seeing in the trailer
video right now. There's first-person shooter with a lot of kicking.
Yeah, your melee is your foot. That's the main change. Imagine Doom, a Doom energy style first-person shooter, but you're kicking instead of punching. That's the gimmick. It's just a super fast-paced FPS, lots of explosions, lots of crazy goofiness, and you're just kicking the shit. You're kicking doors, you're kicking people, you're throwing pipe bombs into bathroom stalls and blowing people up. I don't know. It looks so funny. This looks so funny to me.
Did you watch the trailer with music on?
I did.
So yeah, the other piece of
just
this
the thumping,
is all about thumping music, dude. This game does not take itself seriously. The
it's
city,
so amazing.
I can't even like say half of the words, but the city is called the S word city. That's the city.
Oh, shit city. Yeah, that was the. I remember reading it. I didn't really. What's the plot? I guess it's not really a plot.
Angerfoot is a lightning-fast, hard bass blast of kicking doors and kicking a crash through the caffeine-fueled fever dreams, putting the boot to a menacing menagerie of merciless gangsters. Like, I don't know. You're just going in and
fast-paced, ass-kicking action, vibrant visuals, relentless beats. Master the foot. Become one with the toes and be quick on the trigger,
dude. Yes.
You gotta wish list this one.
What is happening on
this?
You
gotta wish list this one. Dude, I'm following Devolver Digital on Steam now. These guys are awesome. They do some crazy shit. I think that's so funny. So that's what I got. That was our.
I got one more.
Oh, you have one more?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
What's Witchfire? Have you seen this?
Witchfire?
This is a game that I saw it and I was like, this isn't necessarily my genre, but for some reason it looks like it could be a lot of fun. It's on EGS, but it is a first-person shooter roguelite, and it's like you're a witch, you're hunting witches. So it's like it almost looks steampunky because you've got like a steampunk looking revolver and you're fighting I don't know, evil witch creatures, demons and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't know why I just watched it and I'm watching the trailer now again and I'm like, this just looks like it could be fun. I don't know. Like lots of action and lots of shooting and if it's a roguelike, I'm kind of in already. So I don't know. I don't know what
looks
caught me
amazing
about this, but it looks good. And I think what we were seeing was gameplay footage. And it looked clean. I don't know. I don't know why why I saw
Who's
this
making
and was like, I want to play this. The astronauts? I don't know who they are.
So this reminds me a bit of Returnal. And that would be my one hesitation on this is that I hope it's not too hard.
It does say challenging combat.
Very hard. The thing is about Returnal is it is challenging combat. It's so rewarding once you get it going. But that's what it didn't turn me off. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say turn me off. That's what kind of
hesitation
made me hesitant.
Yep.
But
it's a game that I'll watch. I'll look at.
It's so fleshed out.
It looks well done.
Oh, it's from Epic. That's why. So it's like this is a AAA ass. I bet this isn't as hard as Returnal. I bet they mute it. That would be my guess, but I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm just looking at this. It looks like it could be fun. So I'll have it on my wish list and I'll watch it. And if it's not good, then whatever.
Yeah, is this just on EGS then?
Right. Yeah, it looks like it's just on EGS.
Do you even know how to add things to a wish list on EGS?
I do. I don't know how to view my wish list on EGS.
Oh my god, perfect.
That is
absolutely perfect.
But I've add stuff to it.
Oh my god. I love that.
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
All right, our first impression rose is where one of us has spent a little bit of time with a game. and they're not sure, but they might just be willing to think about their future with that game.
So I spent a little bit of time this weekend with a brand new game, a game that I had never that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know a lot about it, but it is Mario Strikers Battle League. I said I was going to play it. It came out. I bought it full price and have been playing it with my son. So if you're unfamiliar, Mario Strikers Battle League is a Mario Soccer. That's what it is. And as like all of the Mario games, they're a little it's wacky. They don't it's soccer only in it resembles soccer. There's a lot of knocking people over and handballs. I have one character, who is it? Wario maybe only uses his hands.
I was gonna say, you say it resembles soccer, and then the second thing you listed was handballs.
yeah. He just carries it around.
What of that resembles soccer to you?
There's 2 nets and goalies in those nets.
You just described basketball
and a soccerish field. So how this game works is it's all, the Mario characters that you love. You build a team, and they all have stats. Speed and strength and technique and shooting and passing. They all have different stats. You put your team together and you play 4-on-4 Mario Soccer. And the way you steal the ball, which is pretty fun, is a full-on tackle. And I don't mean like a soccer tackle. I mean like you're like punching Toad and making him go flying. And
so it's NFL Blitz.
It's NFL Blitz, yes. It's absolutely
Mario Soccer NFL Blitz.
I scored a goal using Wario with my belly. Like I just belly.
At least you weren't using your hands.
He carries it with his hands, and then he'll kick it to shoot it or throw it or belly flop it, I guess.
Standard move.
The games are short. They're quick, 5-minute games, which I think is the appropriate amount of time. They're very easy on the outset, but it's actually pretty complicated to get everything going. To be good at the game is actually pretty tough. When I was going through the tutorials, I started getting into the advanced skills tutorials, and I just had to quit on some of them because I was like, I can't do this. It's so hard. Like, I don't even want to try anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the skills are pretty hard, and I'm using the Pro Controller, and I'm using every button on the Pro Controller. All the triggers, all the buttons, everything. So there is a lot of like skill to it, and it is a lot of fun to play. I've been playing with my son. It's more fun when you play on the same team. It's not as fun to play against him, but playing on the same team against the computer, doing like, a full cup is pretty fun. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So my first impression, I really am enjoying this game. It's exactly what I thought it would be. All the players have like special moves. You power up your thing and then you do this crazy, like Daisy's, for example. She kicks the ball and it goes into a heart shape and the goalie grabs it. And if you time it all right, there's like a whole thing. If you time it right, he falls in love with you and he hugs the ball and he goes and drops it into his own goal.
Oh my God.
So it's like silly.
So funny.
Everything's goofy. After they score, there's like some animations for every different character, and they're really funny. And so it's a lot of fun. And my biggest complaint about this game, because I'm enjoying the gameplay, my biggest complaint is lack of content. There are quick matches. There are, and you can play, like I said, you can play against people. You can play co-op with people up to 4 players. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do there, multiplayer content. But quick matches, there's the cups, of which there are 6. And we've already beaten 4 of them. And then there's seasons, which is you playing online with against real people, which I'm not excited to do because you just know everyone's going to be ridiculously good.
Because everyone's off of FIFA and now they're onto this.
It'd be so good. And that's really it. And then you can like outfit your characters, so you can like buy them gear that will change stats, make one stat go up and the other one go down, and like that sort of thing. But that's it.
Is this a full price game?
And it's a full price game.
No.
So that's number one complaint, and it's a pretty big complaint, is that it's a full price game and it's so $60, and the content is not necessarily there. And there's only
classic Nintendo.
There's probably 8 characters you can play as.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
So I feel like they need to add a lot of content. I don't doubt that they will if they decide to support it heavily. There's a lot of stuff they can do, but right now it's like, so, you know, I'm not going to give Mario Strikers Battle League my first impression, Rose, while I'm having a lot of fun, and I'll continue to play it. I can also see, with the lack of content, kind of getting bored and being done with it before the summer's over. You know? Yeah, so biggest nit is a big one.
Expensive and kind of boring.
Just not a lot to it. Yeah.
Like Elon Musk. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to this next thing.
Dice of Destiny.
All right. Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be responsible for rolling the Dice of Destiny. A 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. That person and then finds a, I don't know. I'm out. Peterson, I lost it. I lost it. You guys fill in the blank.
You completely lost it.
There's like a 6-sided dice, and it's
we
like
roll
for
some
us.
dice.
There's like a 20-sided dice. It's for the games.
And
there's another 6-sided dice. It's for the money. I don't know. A couple weeks ago,
JD just completely lost it on that. That's really funny,
dude. It just got too late, and that was all gone.
Yeah.
I was relying on a part of my brain too hard, and it just stopped working.
Turns out that part is not available at the moment.
It's went to bed. So a couple weeks ago, I tried a new thing because we've changed up our 20-sided dice. That our one is a double genre. And so the double genre that I rolled was a dating sim survival game. And I found one. After a lot of labor, I found one called Sunhaven. It's got stellar reviews. People love this game. This game is charming, it's quirky, it's an indie title. If you like Stardew Valley, this game ostensibly is just right up your alley. It's just exactly what you're looking for. So I bought this game and I downloaded it. Hate it.
JD did not have a good time with this.
I hated it from the jump, from the offset, because the second that I plugged it in, I realized it doesn't have controller support.
How do you not have controller support for this game? I don't understand.
This is like a first-person shooter not having controller support. It's just so weird to me. I guess that's not even a good comparison, because this is just like a game that is so simple, and they're actively working to put it on the Switch. And yet they're like, no, we're not even gonna bother. And so what I did was I ended up going through the Steam interface, the Steam client, which actually allows you to map controls to a controller. And then the game has a way on its side to allow that for you to accept that. And so I tried to set up my own configuration. It failed miserably. And then I was like, oh, I downloaded someone else's. How do I delete the one I had set up already? There's no way to reset the controller hotkeys. So my mapping was conflicting with the new mapping that was now coming from Steam. So now some buttons were doing 2 things. And so at the very start of the game, it's very frustrating because it doesn't really introduce you at all. You just start, and it's like, you have one item on your bar, and I guess you can build a house, which is what you're supposed to build. There's not really any instruction, doesn't tell you what's going on. And on top of all of this, your buttons are doing 2 things. And every time it does something, you're not sure why it's doing it. Then you go back, you can't reset your button hotkeys. So you actually actively have to search through millions of forum posts to find the original hotkeys, because even uninstalling this game from your entire computer and deleting the Steam save, for some reason, one thing the game can retain is your fucking hotkeys. I mean,
that's the one thing
I could go to this guy's house and wipe his server, and this game would still know my fucking hotkeys. So yeah, I went and found the old hotkeys, reset them all to their originals, and by the time I actually sat down, I've been an hour and a half into this to sit down to play this game. I spent a bunch of time preparing my farm, planting some crops, chopping down trees, doing all this stuff. I got ready. I was about to head into town to buy some new seeds because I needed new seeds because I'd planted all the seeds that I'd found. And I'm sure that's where the romance and everything was going to start. And that's where I stopped playing it.
You just couldn't? You just done?
Yeah. So I probably put like 4 or 5 hours. I didn't put enough into it. I'll admit it.
Half of that was controller support.
I will say this,
half of that was building up the controller support.
Yes, it was. Like, and I'll say it, like, I don't want to detract you from playing this game. If you're looking for a Stardew Valley game, if you're looking for something like this, you might like this. Oh, by the way, I didn't even get to the part of the game that I was really, really wanting the controller. It's a platforming game. It's like Stardew Valley, but if the dungeons had platforming as well as combat. The idea of doing that all with my keyboard and mouse wasn't appealing to me. It just wasn't. So I just was never, I was just kind of like sour on the game from the start. But people love this game. The reviews,
they're mostly good.
They're really good, and people like it, even though the developer doesn't seem to give a shit about what the people that are playing it care about, because everyone is asking for controller support. I know, I just feel bad. I feel like I didn't give it a fair shake, but at the same time, I just felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I would be torturing myself to play this game for 10 hours knowing I wasn't going to finish it. Because like Stardew Valley, you want to get to the end. You want to marry someone, maybe have a kid. You want to get to the bottom of the dungeon. There's like objectives you want to do. With this one, I was just so out. And from the jump, the art style didn't land with me. The gameplay didn't land with me. And the game actively hated me. I didn't refund it on Steam, and I won't, because I still love indie devs and I want to support them. But wait for a sale, or wait for a controller support on this one.
Or wait for that's more like, because again,
I might actually have given it a fair shake.
When JD told me initially, he's like, this game doesn't have controller support, I was confused. I was like, there's no way. Like, I don't even I can't imagine playing Stardew Valley with a keyboard and mouse. I don't like that at all.
Yes.
And so like there and I'm a keyboard and mouse person.
Thank
but
you.
That's not the game, right? That's not the type of game you and especially since you mentioned there are platforming elements. I cannot platform on a keyboard and mouse. Like, that is impossible.
Dude, it's not even 4 keys set up like a D-pad, like a directional pad. It's 4 keys that are offset. The WASD, which is great for a first-person shooter, for driving, you know. It does not really work for platforming, I don't think.
I don't like it for platforming at all. So
no.
Weird choice by the devs there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like, again, I don't usually like to give these kind of like a shitty half job, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So that's where we're at.
Let's give us a reset. Let's get a new roll.
Let's get that out of our
cooking.
Okay, I'll do 1 through 3 and you do 4 to 6.
Okay.
And it's a 5.
All right, I'm up. Let's do it.
Oh
gosh, don't mess this up.
Which dice do you want? I'll let you pick your color.
Black. Give me the black dice.
Peterson loves the black dice. 18.
Okay, good.
Is a shooter.
Okay. I got to have a shooter somewhere in my wish list, right?
That's easy. That's so easy, dude.
Okay, but okay. Here's the thing. There's a lot of good shooters and a lot of really crappy shooters.
It's the easiest game to make.
Dude, you better not give me a 1 on this roll, because this will kill me.
So shooter is off the thing, and now we put JRPG back on it.
There we go.
So JRPG is a good one to have back on there. I'm glad that. Wait, did I take those other ones off? No, I didn't. Last week I was so distraught I forgot to take off Dating Sim And was it survival? Survival. Those two need to be removed as well.
Yeah, put them on the bottom.
I'm glad we didn't get either of those. Okay, which means adventure and space.
Here we go.
So adventure, space,
if there was
and
a
JRPG.
theme for Summer's Game Fest, it would be space. Every game was space themed. It was weird.
That's cool. I like that.
It's all space.
Okay, Peterson, now for your money.
All right.
6.
Okay, there we go.
Which actually now we have to say goes all the way up to 70.
So this is a 70. If one
actually
goes
inflation
15,
dude, inflation is hitting everyone, including the dice of destiny.
The dice.
Yep.
The dice are not exempt.
We need a 7-sided dice.
A shooter. Okay.
Okay,
I'll
sweet.
get one.
So Peterson will have a shooter. He'll pick for us next week, and then the next week he will hopefully review it, or he'll just bitch out like JD. And just
this
say,
shooter had
I don't want to play.
No controller support.
I didn't even want to play it, so I just stopped.
It was only played on joysticks. It was why did
like
this
a
happen?
flight sim joystick is the only way to play this shooter. That's a good equivalent. Like you could do it, but why would you?
But why?
Fuck, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this week. To play us out, we've got some music from Mario Strikers.
You will like the music. The music is thing.
Tight. Excited to hear it. I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson, going AFK.
Peterson Productions. Oh yeah.